So thanks and welcome to you who have just joined us. If you do have any colleagues who are coming late to the session, don't worry. All our webinars are recorded in the cloud, and everybody who's been registered on the session today will be sent a recording of the session once we've finished. So just to introduce myself, so my name's Struan, and I'm a consultant here at CEC. I may have met some of you before on some of the other training events that we do, either in person around the country or on the webinar program that we run throughout the academic year. With me on the CEC side, I have Francis here today. Francis, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello everybody, I'm Francis. I'm the customer content manager. I forgot my job role then, forgot what it is that I do. So yeah, I work for CEC, and today I'll be looking at the Q&A and the chat. So throughout the webinar, if you've got any questions, drop them into the Q&A, and if I can't answer them myself, then we've got some time for questions at the end. So you know, thoughts, comments, feedback, use the chat. Any questions, use the Q&A. I am responsible for both of those today. Thank you.
Thanks, Francis. And I'm excited to introduce Jacob and Emma from Grofar, who are here today to talk about using Compass Plus and Grofar together. Jacob, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, yes, I'm Jacob. My role is as a business development representative for Grofar, which means I do various things, but one of those is engagement with schools and helping them record all their wonderful careers and enterprise-related activities on the platform. Thanks,
Jacob. And Emma?
Yes, afternoon everybody. I'm Emma, I'm head of marketing at Grofar, and I'm here with Francis to keep an eye on the Q&A in the chat. So if you've got any questions about Grofar, do put them in and I'll answer as best I can. And as we said, there'll be a Q&A session at the end where we can answer anything as well. But yeah, very happy to be here.
Great, thanks Emma. So just to give you an outline of the next 55 minutes or so, so we've just got a couple of learning outcomes to cover for today, the things we want you to go away with. Then we'll move in to the main body of the webinar today, which is talking about how to get the most out of using Compass Plus and Grofar together. Just before we go into that Q&A that Emma mentioned, we've got a video for you which takes you through how to go about transferring the data, your activity data, from Grofar to Compass Plus. So we'll be referring to this throughout the webinar, but then we've got a video just before the Q&A where we show you how to go through that technical process of exporting your data from one system to another. As Emma and Francis says, we've got plenty of time for Q&A towards the end of the session, and then we want to leave you with an idea of where to find more help and support, both from CEC on Compass Plus, but also from Grofar if you need it. So what do we want you to go away with after this session? Some of you, most of you will be on the session today by virtue of signing up for today, will already have started using both Compass Plus and Grofar in your schools. As some of you might only be using Compass Plus, some of you might only be using Grofar and are interested about using both products together, and you know the process of doing that and what value can be got by using those partner platforms together. So we really want you to go away today with understanding not just how to do it in terms of passing data between the two products, but also going away thinking about and understanding how to actually get the most from both systems when you're using together, how to use them effectively. And secondly, as I said, we won't be able to cover absolutely everything about both platforms on this webinar today. We want you to go away with understanding where to find help and support for both products if you need it. Okay, so let's move into the main body of the webinar today, is looking at how to use Compass Plus and Grofar together. So to begin with, the main way we recommend that both products are used together is via this simple principle. And I'll explain the principle, and I'm going to break it down step by step, or Jacob and I are going to break it down step by step. So really, when you use Compass Plus with a partner product, such as Grofar, we want you to think about it as a cyclical process, so a cycle. So on the one side in Compass Plus, on the left of the screen there, you're using the platform, using Compass Plus to strategically direct your provision and review your performance. And what we mean by that is that most of you will be taking Compass evaluations already. We really stress that it's important that you're taking those Compass evaluations termly. So you're doing them at least 3 times a year in order to strategically see where you are in your work to achieving each of the 8 Gatsby benchmarks. So it's really important that that is done a number of times a year in order that you can see and you can report to colleagues where you are against achieving those benchmarks at any particular time. But when it comes to delivering the activities to support those benchmarks, then you may already be using Grofar, you may be thinking about using Grofar. And what we recommend is, if you are planning to do that, is that once you've strategically defined where your provision is going to go, that you, if you wish to continue to deliver those activities and manage the delivery of those activities in Grofar, okay? And through a data export and upload process, you can see how those activities will, that you've created in Grofar will contribute to your Gatsby benchmark scores. So once you've uploaded that data into Compass Plus, you can again take a Compass evaluation, see where you are, see where you are in achieving the benchmarks, what your percentages are, and then again, tweak where you are, tweak the activities, think about what activities you might want to create in Grofar to fill those gaps. So we'll come back to this later, but that's really the guiding principle of how we recommend that you use both products together. Okay, and we're going to now break down step by step how we go about doing this. So it's really simple. It's a 3-step process. So firstly, we recommend that you do that planning in Compass Plus, and I'll show you shortly how to go about doing that. Secondly, and I'm going to hand over to Jacob for this part, is that you manage your activities across the year in Grofar. And then thirdly, you're doing that data export and import into Compass Plus, and then you're checking your progress in Compass Plus via your dashboard, and I'll take you through how to do that. So step 1 then, how do we go about planning ahead in Compass Plus? So some of you who have already attended the other webinars that we've put on for Compass Plus may have heard me go through this process already. But it's always good to reiterate the best way to use to go about using the data in Compass Plus in your planning. And the first thing is, as you can see to the left of the screen there, is to start drilling down into those Compass evaluation results. So once you've taken a Compass evaluation, and we recommend that you do them termly, you will see the results of that data on your dashboard screen. So at the top of the Compass Plus dashboard, if you remember, you have your 8 Gatsby benchmarks, you have your bar charts, your bars telling you your progress towards achieving the Gatsby benchmarks. So in the example here on the left, we can see that benchmark 3 is at 63%. Well, what do we do with that information? How do we go down? How do we drill down further and look where the gaps are? So if you go into your evaluation section, find the evaluation you've completed, click on it, and see the results in detail, you can start mining that data, the gaps you need to fill. So in the example to the left of the screen there, where we have benchmark 3 at 63%, we can see a number of the sub-criteria for that benchmark have either been met, they've got a green tick, they're in progress, or they haven't been started yet, in which case they've got that black cross. So we can immediately see by looking at those sub-criteria that we've got in progress or that we've not begun to meet yet, where we might start to think about the type of activities we might want to create. Okay. Your second key data stream when you're planning in Compass Plus is to use your future skills questionnaire results. So we have some of the results there, or we have a snapshot there on the right hand of the screen, taken from the future skills questionnaire survey results. So again, some of you may have attended our webinar that we run just about purely on the future skills questionnaire, where we go through how the questionnaire works in more detail. Haven't got time to go through that today. Suffice to say that the future skills questionnaire, this questionnaire asks the pupils about their own experience of their careers education that they're receiving. So the questionnaire, you can set this up as careers very easily yourselves. The questionnaire asks the pupils about their career-related skills and knowledge. Okay, so when those results start coming in, you can see where students feel more confident, where students might need some more support on the skills and knowledge side. So what we recommend is that when you're planning, is that you essentially triangulate these data streams. So you're using on the one side your benchmark data, and on the other side your future skills data, and you start identifying then where you might want to put resources, where your gaps are in achieving the Gatsby benchmarks. Then once you start thinking about how you're going to do that as those activities, you might want to create some of those activities in Compass Plus if you wish, and that's the way you manage your activities. Once you start creating those activities, you can start seeing what the likely impact will be on your Gatsby benchmark scores. And on the right-hand screen there, you can see how the Compass Plus dashboard can help you see what the projected scores will be once you start creating activities in the system. And the idea, as I said, is cyclical, and that once you're entering activities, whether you're entering them directly into Compass Plus or from Grofar, that you can check what the impact is going to be of those activities as you go along. Okay, so if a colleague asks you, a member of SLT or possibly a member of Ofsted, governor perhaps, asks you when you're creating your activities, what's the likely impact going to be on a benchmark scores, you can easily go in and do that in the Compass Plus dashboard. So like most careers systems, careers platforms, systems are only as good as the data that you enter into them. So it's really important that you're regularly reviewing from a strategic point of view where you are in Compass Plus. So you've used your Compass Plus data to strategically direct your program, thinking about where you might want to put resources, but you want to use Grofar to continue delivering and managing those activities that you put on, those events that you put on. So I'm now going to hand over to Jacob, who's going to talk a little bit more about how you manage your careers activities in Grofar.
Great, thank you very much, Struan. Am I coming out all right? First thing, can everyone hear me? Yeah, all good.
That's
brilliant.
Fine.
So yeah, as you've seen, you can use the Grofar Careers Program Builder to put together groups of activities which you can then target at different students. So this means if you do know over the summer, say, what you plan to cover in the following year's program, you can add all these activities well in advance and save yourself a bit of time. Alternatively, and I think this is the way that most people use the platform, to be honest, you can add one-off activities. Either way, the activity form is exactly the same. And if you could just go to the next slide, please. Thank you. These are the essentials when filling out an activity form for either the Careers Program Builder or one-off activities. So we need to know the type, obviously a title for the activity, An activity lead is useful, but not essential actually. A date and time for your activity, a primary benchmark, which of course is the one that will be counted against, and main category, and your students of course as well. Cannot forget the students. I think it's all right if I take over screen sharing now, Struan. I think I can do that.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Bear with me a second. I think we want this one. Sorry, you'd think after the best part of working from home for a couple of years, we'd be well used to doing this, but I think if I've done that right, am I sharing? Sorry, you should all be able to see a Grofar homepage now. Is that right? Brilliant.
That's fine. Yeah.
Fantastic. So first off, then, just a quick tour through the Grofar platform. Then we'll go and have a little look at how you can actually record your activities and produce the export to upload into Compass Plus. So what we are looking at now is the Grofar homepage. So this is where, as a user, you would land when you first log in, and you have some quick actions available to you via these tiles here, which cover the main day-to-day jobs on the platform. So logging a general group activity, tracking your careers program, logging a one-to-one meeting, and viewing your reports. And then you can access the rest of the platform by using this menu panel on the left-hand side of the page here. So the rest of the platform includes your dashboards and reports, the student database, more on that in a moment, your contacts database for the contact details of anyone that's been involved in talks, workshops, taster days, whatever it might be. You have your aforementioned careers program builder, your activities log, which again we'll be coming back to as well, and a digital comms section, which contains resources and a notice board for sharing careers updates with students. When it comes to actually adding activities, you can record them from lots of different places. One being the homepage here, but I think the best place to do it is actually from your student database. So this forms sort of the main, or I suppose half of the main body of the platform. The other half being all your careers information, careers data. But this is where you'll find all your students, and we normally build this database by merging with the school's MIS, so SIMS, Bromcom or ARBA, and this synchronizes every day. So your students' class lists and staff list, those are always up to date. And you can of course filter through your database to pick out very specific groups of students. So we've got a German teaching group here, and if we wanted to add an activity for this group, all we've got to do is hit the activity button and then add activity to all. Now, like I said, if you are just using Grofar as a sort of fairly simple recording tool and you just want to report back to Compass Plus, the bare minimum you have to fill in here is the activity type, a title, set a date and time, tick off all of the benchmarks that your activity touched on, and obviously pick your primary benchmark that will be uploaded to Compass Plus and main category. And then you have already selected your students. So like I said, if you're just using this to record stuff as a placeholder, all you need to do is whiz down to the bottom and click save. So at that point, an entry is added to your careers activity log, and this will display absolutely everything you have ever added to the platform. You could obviously filter this and look at very specific academic years or activity types or student groups if you want to. But the main thing I wanted to show you on this is the export function here. So if you click this button here, you can either download a spreadsheet that shows you absolutely everything, or one that goes into the Compass Plus format. So that will put all your activities into a template on Excel that you can then take and upload straight into Compass Plus. So that is kind of the basic activity logging and tracking. One of the main benefits of using Grofar is the ability to share all of this information, plus links and resources and whatever else you want with your students. As a version of this activity is also added to the student profiles, or passports, as we like to call them, so they can access it from their side of the platform. So going back to the activity form for a moment, I'm sure you'll have noticed as we went through the previous form that there's loads of extra bits and pieces that you can add in here. So starting off with the description, obviously you can go into as much or as little detail there as you like, but you can pop in pictures and videos and make that really pop out to the students on their side in their records. If you want to sort of fine tune and differentiate between your activities a little more precisely than our sort of activity types, you can tag your activities, and that will give you more options when it comes to reporting. You can also add in skills that your students have worked on as part of the activity, and this gives you the option of tracking and reporting on those as well, of course. We give you the skills builder set by default, but you've got up to 2 custom skill sets, which could be a set of core school values or alternative employability traits, that sort of thing. A little bit further down the form, you have the option of aligning the activity with a particular subject area, which is something that I know from experience can be quite tricky to monitor and track at times. And you can indicate whether or not that activity was a specific educational encounter as well. Looking at your attendees, like I said, most people do, I think, tend to use this as just a way of tracking activities after they've happened. But you do have the option of setting these up in advance and using the platform to invite students and record attendance. And of course, if you've got other attendees like guest speakers or people that came in to help with workshops, whoever that might be, you can add them into your activities as well. And then you've got further optional extras down here, including links and attachments. Again, all of this, as well as the time spent on organising and delivering your programme, is intended to be of benefit to your students. So I suppose when they get round to looking at it is another question, but it is all there for them on their passports when they need it. So having the ability to instantly share all of this with them at the same time as ticking off the Gatsby benchmarks is really, really valuable. Finally, another area I know that can be hard to evaluate is the impact of your programme, but we have you covered there as well. So at the bottom of the form here is the option of sending a feedback request to all of your attendees, and you can pull off a report based on all the comments that have been left to share it with, the speakers that came along, colleagues, and that will give you a few sort of headline stats on that report, an overall rating from your students, and you'll be able to pick some comments that go into that as well. You can actually kind of doctor these reports. So if you have, I'm sure you never get anything like this, but if you do ever have anything inappropriate, shall we say, in there, you can make sure that does not appear in the final version of that. So I'm just going to switch very quickly over to the student side of the platform to show you a sample of what the students can get out of it as well. So this is what it looks like for the students, and it works really well on phones and other devices. So if you do struggle to get students logged on or booking out computer rooms, that is always an option. And when they log in, they get their own dashboard, and from here they can access a few different bits and pieces, their passports, activity timeline, action plans, resources, and we've also got a job and labour market information explorer for them as well. We'll just go and have a look at the passport for now, which start off with an about me or to the personal statement style section, and then it pulls in lots of information that's been added to various other parts of their profiles as well. So as part of their action plans, they can highlight some skills that they want to work on. They can pin or favorite the activities that they really enjoyed and want to record on here for future reference. It goes on to list things like work experience, references, and if we go a little bit further down, it's got sections on wider interests and courses and qualifications. And I'm sure you can all see where this is going, but if we whiz back up to the top of the profile here, we've got a generate CV option. So that pulls everything that you can see on the passport here off and pops it into a draft CV format, which students can edit and then send off to their chosen employers or whoever else they need to. So we are nearly there. Just want to take you back very quickly to the staff side to look at possibly not the most exciting bit of the platform, but a really useful bit. So once you've spent a bit of time adding all your activities and events, you'll be able to take advantage of Grofar's considerable reporting abilities. So we're looking at the main activity report here, which will show you a precise breakdown of all your careers provision by activity type, by benchmark, by skill, by tag, whatever you put into it, basically. And each of these numbers in the report allows you to click through and look at the individual activities that were sort of contributing to that report. So that opens up your activity log, which highlights the 5 activities that we're counting towards that bit of the report. And then if I want to look at these activities in more detail, I just have to select any of them, which will open up the individual activity report, where I can see all of the information, the description, and all of my student attendees. And again, if I want to go even further in and look at an individual student and see what else they've been up to, what they've been adding to their passports, I can have a look at the passport summary from the staff side. So this just highlights what they've added to their action plans, their skills scores, and any one-to-one meetings they've had as well. Skills they've been working on, everything that was on that passport section, basically. So I didn't want to mention the dreaded O word, but really useful if you've got an inspection and someone's sort of saying, we just like to see a really nice picture from a really high level down to the individual student level of sort of what you're doing with your students at the moment. So I think that is all of the basic functionality in a nutshell. We haven't looked at a few different things. So the careers package does include a one-to-one meeting manager, a destination data manager, and further resources for students as well. But that is everything from me for now. So I really hope you all found that informative and useful. I believe we do have some time for fielding some questions at the end, but if not, I'll be more than happy to pick those up with my colleagues and get back to you in the next few days. Thank you very much. Back to you, Stuart.
Yeah, thank you, Jacob. I'm just going to see if I can just take this screen back directly.
Oh yeah, let me stop. Yeah.
Okay, can you see the PowerPoint there?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Okay. So Jacob just took you through how to go about managing the students' careers activity in Grofar. It's got some slides here illustrating some of that process. And then once you've done that data export from Grofar, obviously Jacob showed you how you need to identify when you're creating activities in Grofar, which is the main benchmark category for those activities. That's really important to make sure they're counting against the right scores in Compass Plus. Obviously, Grofar also takes pupil data from the MIS system. Jacob mentioned SIMS, Bromcom, ARBA, whichever one it is. Each pupil has what's called a unique pupil number, a UPN, and that makes sure that when you do we upload into Compass Plus, make sure that the activity data appears against the right pupil. So all pupils have a unique number. And then, as I say, we recommend that you do that every half term, and then as you take those Compass evaluations, you're checking the progress and seeing what that ongoing progress is from the activities you've created in Grofar against those Compass evaluation scores. And as I said earlier, you can use the first data visualization in Compass Plus to see what those projected scores are going to be. If those activities you've created in Grofar last between now, say, and the end of the summer term, you can see what the likely impact is going to be by using that second drop down above your dash at the top of your dashboard, and that will show you what the projected impact will be the next time you complete a Compass evaluation. So just to summarize then, we recommend that you follow this cyclical process where you're strategically directing your program in Compass Plus. So you're completing those Compass evaluations, excuse me, you're planning using your benchmark data, but also using your future skills data. It's useful. Looking at where those gaps are. Okay, how and where should I put my resources? Okay, I'll create these types of activities for these pupils in Grofar. You're managing those interactivities, exporting your data, importing it into Compass Plus, and then checking on your progress. And you can continue that in a cycle throughout the academic year. So Jacob just touched on this earlier, but it's good to reiterate and take you through it step by step, just to show you how you export that data from Grofar and upload it into Compass Plus. Before we do that, I've just got a short quote there from a careers leader at a school in Essex that uses both products. That careers leader there, just talking briefly from some feedback they gave to our colleagues at Grofar at how they use both products together to provide evidence for their Compass reports. Okay, so I'm just going to play this short video now, which illustrates the export and upload process. Again, as I said at the beginning of the session, this is recorded, so you'll be sent a link so you can be taken through step by step exactly how to do this process when you come to doing that export and upload process. This only lasts 2 or 3 minutes, and I shall play this now.
To export your data from Grofar, log in and go to the activity log. Untick the Show Future tick box at the top of the page. Then, using the button on the top right-hand side, filter your data so that you are only showing activities from the current academic year. Then click Apply Filter at the bottom. Click on the Export button on the top left and choose Compass Plus Export. Click the Export button to download a CSV file, including all of the current academic year's activities. This will include all of the information you need and will be in the correct format to upload directly into Compass Plus.
To upload your Grofar data to Compass Plus, click on Your Plans on the Compass Plus navigation bar. Click on the Upload icon, the up arrow, in the Actions column. A dialog box will pop up. Click on Select File and find the CSV file you downloaded from Grofar. Confirm your file selection, and you'll see a message confirming that your data upload has been successful. You will then see the activities logged in Grofar appear on the Activities tab of a pupil's individual Compass Plus profile.
So I hope that illustrates it. It's a really, really simple process. Just go in, follow the instructions there to export your CSV file, export CSV file from Grofar, and then go into your plan in Compass Plus, find that up arrow, and it asks you to to find that CSV file in the pop-up window there. Once it's uploaded, the data will flow into the individual pupil profiles. Okay, so we have time to take a few questions now. Francis, I don't know if there's been any questions entered into the Q&A or the chat at all.
There are no questions in the Q&A or chat.
Okay, we've still got a few minutes, so if you do have any questions that occur to you, please pop them in the Q&A or chat, and we're happy to answer them. Emma, you and I were chatting earlier. What are some sort of typical questions you get at Grofar about using the products together?
Yes, so we have quite a few of our customers or people that are looking to join Grofar and have the Grofar platform. Quite a few have been really interested in our brand new LMI tool. So Jacob mentioned that briefly about how students can access the LMI tool and the Job Explorer tool. So they can go in and look at all of the recent data on a huge amount of jobs. They can narrow it down to their areas as well, and they can pin certain jobs to their student passports. They have all of that information in one place, which is really useful, and students are really enjoying using that new tool. So that's quite often we get some questions around how students can access that information. So that's when we get quite a lot, and also around our student passport. So what Jacob showed earlier, and the fact that students can take that away with them when they leave school or college. So when they do move on to a college or to higher education or to employment, they can keep that passport. So we send out emails to all of the students to ask for a different email address than their school or college one, so they can access it in the future. And they can keep that as a student passport, as an online CV, and use it as a CV generator into the future, which is a really great tool. So that's another question we have quite a lot. I can't see any more in the chat or the Q&A, but do pop them in if you have any questions at all.
Okay, yeah, pop those questions in if they do occur to you. We'll just move on then to where you can find more support. Jacob, I don't know who's best to talk to this. Either you or Emma. Who's best to talk about to the left of the screen there about the help and support?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I work quite closely with the customer success team here at Grofar, but we do have a vast support site, which is what you will find if you follow that first link listed there, which has loads of guides on everything from what we've looked at today to student videos and some guides for students on how to build their profiles and generate their CVs. And then if you have got any questions or would like to book yourself in for a demo or a training session or whatever it might be, just send anything into hello@grofar.com. Most of us, I think, actually have access to that email address, but our support team is in charge of redirecting those to whoever they need to go to. More than likely will end up coming through to me. And we've got the phone, of course. Don't be afraid to use the phone.
Thanks, Jacob. Yeah, and on the Compass Plus side, those of you who've been using the product for a while will have noticed this has changed slightly. So we used to have a help widget that floated on each screen. And we've actually removed that now, and we have a dedicated help center. So at the bottom of your primary navigation, big yellow link there, linked to the new help center. And the reason we've done that is to essentially consolidate all the in-product help, so all the help articles, videos, step-by-step guides, etc., but also all the training you can sign up for. Obviously, you're signed up for a webinar today, but you can go into the help center and access there the rest of the webinar program, the rest of this year. Towards kind of June, July time, we'll be publishing the program for the autumn term. So there'll be plenty of webinars and planned. You can also access face-to-face training in your area as well to support your wider work as careers leaders. Number 2 there, your enterprise coordinator. If your enterprise coordinator is particularly good, they've got lots of knowledge about Compass Plus, and they're also very good at sort of explaining a little bit more widely about how you might embed a careers platform like Compass Plus or Grofar in your wider work as careers leaders. And then finally, if you do get stuck, please get in touch with the Compass Plus help desk. The email address is there. Again, you can type that in and contact us directly by email, or again, you can do it directly from the help center. So there's a form there that you can go in, put in your query, you can add attachments if need be. Okay, are there any final questions, Francis, before we wrap up for today?
No, not in the Q&A. I've just dropped some links into the chat, and I'm going to put a link into our feedback form. So if the participants could spend 2 minutes to complete our feedback form, we would all be very grateful.
Thanks, Francis. Okay, so if there are no more questions, suffice to say, thank you on behalf of myself and Francis for attending today. And also thank you to Emma and Jacob for your input in putting this webinar together for today and taking us through Grofar in detail, Jacob, and also to providing some of that guidance there at the end. So thank you very much, everyone, for attending today. As I said at the beginning, don't worry about trying to remember everything we've covered, because a link will be sent to you and any colleagues who've registered for the session, but unfortunately weren't able to make it today. Once we have that video as well, that video will also be made available in the Compass Plus Help Centre. So yeah, thank you all for attending.
Oh, sorry, I was going to say thank you for having us, Stuart, and yeah.
Yeah, thanks Jacob. Thanks, Jacob. Thanks, Emma. Yeah, and I hope to see you all on another CEC or Grofar training session sometime in the future. Okay, thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you.